a few things. We are very big believers in investing ourselves and not waiting to fix something until it's broken. So we've always invested in our mentors, whether it's business or relationship, and we've stepped up to another level. And yeah, being in business is tough in the first years. It's so right, John. I always say that, and I listen to Brian Tracy, The Psychology of Achievement. If you haven't got it, get the CDs. And he does say, once you've read what you've sown, once you've sown, you can, you've got to pay a price for success. That's his thing. Once you pay that price, you will reap what you've sown. What's it called? The Psychology of Achievement. And then he says, when you get up and you have to go out in the morning, go into the mirror and you say to yourself, I love myself, I love myself, I love myself. You can do it, you can do it, you can do it. And I do that before every presentation. So, yeah, and I do. And sometimes when I'm feeling down about my business, I'll just go to that mirror and go, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it. Because not everything, and lately I've been saying and revealing to people, because they see me in this up and bubbly state and, being all minty. And then it's not like that. Actually, I feel like this journey, the lows have been so low and the highs have been so elated, and you kind of live your life for the next high that you're going to get. But 3 years, I'm nearly celebrating 3 years in 3 more weeks. 3 years in business, and I'm proud of that achievement. And not my relationship, I guess, and the people in my tribe weren't along for my journey in the beginning. Even though I did have the support, however, I didn't have people believing in me. Who does she think? I felt like, well, maybe this was my thinking in my head. People were saying, who does she think she is? She could charge this so that she could do this from the little cave underneath her house. If you guys don't know where I operate at, I actually have a cave underneath my house. It's my consulting room, and people actually come and see me there. I do all my online webinars and see clients there and all that sort of stuff. So, but what I'm here to talk to you about, because I'm really into, I want to show you how to do some stuff in your business, because I don't know, I'm that kind of a person. I want to give people a how. So I want to present to you the 3 easy steps to packaging your IP. But first of all, before I do that, I'll quickly give you a bit of a background for those of you that don't know me, because there is a couple of you in the room that don't. But currently we have 3 businesses. So, variety is one of my core drivers. And it started off with ultimate weight loss, lose the last 10 kilos. And the first turnaround point within my business was the publishing of my first book, The 7 Ultimate Secrets to Weight Loss, which was a mindset-focused book. And really, like everyone, it was like, how do I go out and get those clients? What do I have to do? And for those 12 to 18 months, it was all about sewing and sewing and sewing and going out and meeting and sending those emails and sending those postcards, and really not knowing what I had to do. And 2 days before my daughter was born, I was sitting in my cave with my client, one of my first 3 clients. I had only had 3 clients by the time I was at my 12-month mark, and my waters broke in the coaching chair. And the book was coming out the next day, and you know what I did? I grabbed the phone. I actually asked my client to grab the cordless phone because I couldn't get up, and I said, get that phone, I've got to call Stuart. I had to call Stuart, Dale, please bring down a towel. He brought down a towel, put it under my bow. I think I'm going to finish the session, I've got half an hour to go. I seriously did that. And that is how far I push it, like in terms of determination and persistence in this business. And when my daughter was born, 3 weeks later, the book, because the book had just come out, so the book was born, the daughter was born, and all of a sudden people, the floodgates opened. Like, I was credible, I was this expert, and I rebranded, because my company used to be called PRS Coaching, which really didn't stand for anything. Rebranded to Ultimate Weight Loss, lose the last 10 kilos, which is really specific. People all of a sudden said, oh, I know what problem you solve. And so later on that year, at Christmas time is the best time to package up your IP. Can I tell you that? Because you're not distracted by any other people. You have, say, 10 days where you can really write the whole program. So that's the best time I would recommend that you do it. And also, if you are going to write a book or something, to take yourself away on holiday or a weekend away, which is where we did, Donna and I in the Ninja Business Chicks business, wrote a book over a weekend. We half wrote it, and now we're sort of preparing this 48-hour author weekend that we're wanting to put together. So that's one of my other businesses. So the other one is Ultimate Business Edge, create products for profit. So what I have done over the last 2.5, now 3 years, is I wrote so many programs that I kind of discovered that I actually had this talent of putting my thoughts in a really logical order. So by putting them in a logical order that made sense, as well as working with clients on these specific topics, I was able to then package it all up and create businesses in a box. And I want to show you how you can create something through the knowledge that you have, because I believe every single person has a book within them. Is that right? Yeah, totally has a book, if not 2 or 3 or 5, because I keep coming up with these ideas. I don't know where they're coming from. It's like I got bored 3 weeks ago and I started writing Ultimate Procrastination Cure. It's like, I want to teach people how to take action. I'm good at taking action. There's got to be a way, something that I do. And actually when I share the story, I think it's a really cool story. So at the time, my mentor, I said, look, you know, I want to write this program about procrastination, and he said, okay, Nat, so how would you, what do you do when you take action? And he goes, where in the body do you feel it? And if you're a coach or you know a bit about coaching, they can ask you these weird ass questions. I'm not that kind of a coach, I'm just a little bit too black and white, you know. And I said, Pete, so I said, somewhere here in my stomach. And he goes, and does it have any weight? And I said, nah, it just looks like the sun, you know. He goes, what colour is it? And I said, oh, it's yellow and all that. So as you focus on that, he goes, what sort of stuff comes up? And I said, determination, knowing that it's going to get done, blah, blah, blah. And I named about 7 different things. He goes, that's your program. And I said, really? He's right about that. A week later, I pick up this book, Discover the Gift. Okay? And this is where it gets all like, it's really like spiritual, but not to that level. And I'm reading this book, and I get to the chakras. And apparently, this chakra that it's in our solar plexus looks yellow, like the sun, is all about activation and taking action. How the hell did I know that? You know what I mean? And I wrote that as an introduction in my program. It's like, that was so spooky and cool. You know, so that's how I get the ideas. And actually now when I sit down and just go, okay, come to me ideas, like what am I going to write up? And this is an additional program that now I'm going to add into the both businesses in a box and give people more value to work with clients. So you guys are all going to get to see all of that. So, okay, so let's move on to what I want to teach you. So this is just, for those of you that can't see it, these are all the products I've created, and there's a couple of more programs. So I'm an author of 3 books. One being a bestseller, so now I can say I'm a best-selling author, and lots of different programs. I'm so passionate. Nowadays I do work with people only one-on-one when they want to write books or programs. That's what I love doing. And the other stuff I just pass it on to, if it's weight loss or health related, I'll pass it on to my licensees. So tonight I want to tell you how you can build your business through building your IP easily. The products itself, the #1 secret. Okay, some of you know it and some of you don't. So I'll tell you the #1 secret, how to make a product sell. And licensing your IP. So I really want to show you how you can actually stop selling your time for money. Because when you license your IP, it's where you can actually get other people to buy into using that intellectual property, and then you can make that passive income. Now I've realized since I started doing all of this, I actually like to do both. I like to work with clients as well as having a little bit of that passive income on the side, because I think I get depressed if I wasn't around people. So I love that. So building your IP easily, I'm just going to open up all of this. What I want to ask maybe a couple of people is, where have you spent your 10,000 hours? Okay. So usually what they say, to reach a level of mastery within any field, you would have spent 10,000 hours in a particular field, and maybe a couple of fields people would have spent those hours in. So who wants to give me a bit of a, John, you've...
yeah, I've got a background there. Yes, chef in 5-star international hotel.
You did that for many, many years, didn't you?
I did that for, 17 years.
Wow, so you definitely have 10,000 hours. By the way, 10,000 hours is approximately 7 years. Okay? So, anyone else? Sales, yeah. So, for example, you could easily package up IP around teaching people how to do sales and how to be great at sales, and you can sexy it up and add your own flavour, like Camille said. You could take that out. I spent 12 years in retail. I was actually through the optical industry. We worked for Go SMS Spec Service. That's where Stuart and I met at a work conference where everything happens. But I would probably write another program which helps retailers, or specifically optical retailers, to be successful within their businesses. Oh God, I better not be coming up with another idea. Clear the screen. Because if I come up with an idea, it gets action tomorrow. That's how I operate. And if it's a mistake, oh well, I just keep moving on. I love a quote that I saw the other day. It said, courage doesn't have to roar. Courage is the ability to say that I'll try again tomorrow. And that's the thing when I'm going through tough times, that I'm going, I'll try again tomorrow. I love myself. So, also thinking about what you can, is there a problem that people have that you can actually solve for them? So, when you're thinking of packaging IP, you really need to think about what problem are you solving. A lot of people come up to me and say, I want to write about empowerment. I want to write about inspiration, or just those really big, fluffy ideas, which is great. We all want to inspire and empower people and everything. I just really am interested in, are people going to buy into that? Will they know what problem you're solving? So whenever you're thinking about creating a product, what is the problem you're solving? That's why Lose the Last 10 Kilos solves that particular problem for people in that weight loss, when they need to lose the last 10 kilos. And then Ultimate Business Edge is create products for profit. So we solve the problem around how do you go about creating that product for profit. So always, when you come up with a title or a product, what problem am I solving? What problem am I solving? Write that down for yourself, and then ask a whole group of people what they think about it. So when they came up with this Ultimate 48-hour author, I think we were on Skype call. I'm like, John, what do you think about this idea? I rang up Donna. I tell Stuart. I think Stuart was the last one to find out. He was sad that he found out last, because usually your partner finds out first. But I had to tell so many people just to get see what their response is, and just play with it. Put your idea out there. You know what you do? Don't create the product until you've sold it. Okay? First, you make it sexy, and this is the next part that we will talk about. But first you make it sexy, you show people what it's going to deliver, and then you go out telling people, and then you get the interest, and then the first person decides that's it, you're in, you got to do it. Because when you make a commitment to other people, like for example, I think Oscar attended, in February we did the product generator session. Actually, Nick, you were there too. So what I did for that one, I started talking to people about it in November, and the minute the first person signed up, I'm like, shit, I got to write this thing down. I've said I've got to put it, got to put it together. And same thing with Ultimate Procrastination Cure, is I sold a few and I go, oh, okay. Because that's the way you actually overcome procrastination. That's one of the keys. Make a commitment to somebody else, and then you will be able to follow through and not just like, oh, write my book tomorrow. So in terms of book writing, you actually, I guess that's a little bit different than an actual full-blown program, but you can pre-sell all your books before you've published it, so you can actually make the money. And that's what's happened with all of my books. I've pre-sold them all, and then they've come out, and there's no money that's been left over, to pay to the publisher. Okay, so do you have a skill and ability that you can teach others? So if you don't think you have any skills, abilities, you haven't spent any of your 10,000 hours anywhere in particular, some people might say, no. What do? Who wants to have a go? Because you can still do this.
Interview someone who has.
What is it?
You interview someone with a skill.
You can interview someone with a skill, or you can start attending seminars, reading books, listening to audio tapes, and start making notes, and then linking them back up to stories from your own life, so that you can rewrite. Some people get worried about it being you're ripping off someone else's IP, you're not. There's really nothing new in this world. Everything is just packaged up new and sexy, okay? And with the person's flavor to it, yeah? So everything that I've written is a combination of intellectual property I've collected over the last 12 years since I've been reading up on mindset, personal development, my psychology degree, all of this stuff that I've learned, and used myself as a guinea pig for a lot of the strategies before I would go out and then teach other people, and tested it out with my clients. So if you are coaches and you're working with clients, note down what works, what doesn't work, and that ultimately will become your program. Alright, so the next thing is, how are we actually going for time? I've lost Oh, okay, cool. So the number one secret as to what will make your product marketable is to make it sexy. And what do I mean by sexy? And some of you have heard me talk about this many, many times. Okay, let's see if you listened. Nick?
Yeah.
How do you make products sexy?
Sexy names.
And what does a sexy name mean?
It is hypnotic words.
Yes, very good. Okay, so when you're naming your products, I suggest, and you're not just your product, but also your outline, you actually put hypnotic words within those within the names. So what are hypnotic words? Hypnotic words are such as the word ultimate. I've got it through everything. Amazing, outstanding. What is it? You because free is an ultimate word. Sorry, a hypnotic word.
Good.
Yeah.
Magnificent.
Magnificent. That's right. That's right. So people, you just kind of go, what is that? You arise their curiosity. I want to find out. Like this particular webinar was used. I ran this as a webinar, and it was called the 3 secrets. Secrets is to turning your IP into profit. Profit is a hypnotic word as well. It's like people go, what are these secrets? I want to find out. It's not really big secrets. I mean, my book, The 7 Ultimate Secrets to Weight Loss, is there really 7? It's probably 100 or, less than 100. Whatever it is, you just put it out there. Actually, I love putting numbers on things because it makes me structure it, step by step. And I would say the 7, the 10. The ultimate procrastination cure is actually 10 easy steps to banish it from your life. So banish is again another hypnotic word. So once you've written your headline, and also what your headline needs to do is so what do people want? Okay, outside worlds. Let's see if you guys listen. Easy, fast, step by step. They want a quick fix. They want a magic bullet. And all of those kind of things that really we love to think exist out there, but they don't really. So, there's 3 secrets to turning your IP into profit. I mean, this is just obviously the surface of what happens underneath everything that I would go through with a client or teach people. So, but to get you started, this will get you started. Put your sexy outline, put your sexy name on top of it, and then promote it out, whether it's going to be like a workshop or a program. What I suggest that you do, if you're going to run it live, write it up as well. Because when you write it up, it becomes part of your language, and it's really easy to talk about it without needing to refer to any notes, because you've already gone through the process in your head and you've had the stories and throughout all of that, so it's really easy to deliver it that way. So always write it out and then deliver it live, and that way you've got 2 products. And also what Stuart does, and what we do in all of our trainings, we end up capturing a product just like here on video. So when we ran the product generator program where Nick and Oscar were, we videoed the whole day. We've now received back the hard drive from Bulgaria. It went all the way to Bulgaria. It was away for 6 weeks. I sent off the Ultimate Weight Loss licensing training days as well as the ninja training. So I sent off 5 days worth of video to this guy, and for $250, he edited everything out into 1-hour episodes with intros, with excerpts, with the pumpkin music at the start, with my video, my URL coming up at the bottom. So soon they'll be uploaded to our website, so people who want to experience what we did in the live training, they can also watch it. And there's your product again. So it's not only delivered by webinar, by video, by CDs, and I know with this, you don't like the webinar, so if you were to watch these training days, you'd enjoy it because it'll be all people in there and doing normal, natural stuff. So your IP doesn't necessarily have to be written programs. It can be CDs, videos, and all that kind of stuff. Podcasts. So with the Ninja Business Chicks, we do a podcast. That's nothing tangible. It's just our IP that we're selling in a membership program. Yeah? So does anyone have any ideas of what kind of, any product names that you've thought about that I could give you some feedback on? No? Do you want to, who here wants to create a product for their business? I just want to get an idea. So more than 50% of the room. You do? Yeah. It's really fun and it's really easy and it's a credibility and expert status builder like no other. Okay? It's something that will change the way you do business and potentially as it builds, once you do it once or twice, I warn you, it becomes very addictive. It's addictive bad. Alright, so you're licensing your IP, how to stop selling on time for money. So what do I mean by licensing your IP? It's about, I guess, systemizing everything that you do in your business so that someone else can replicate that. So when you systemize everything from A to Z, and this takes a long time. I actually put that on this slide, it takes you 2 years, and then I spoke to our mentor yesterday during our session. She goes, no, it's in Natasha, 2 years. She goes, most people take these little steps one after the other. She goes, this is Natasha, you know? And I looked at it and go, really, is that how people see me or perceive me? And she goes, no, it probably would take 5 years for people to get this stuff out there, you know? And I said, oh, okay. But for me, it took me about 2 years, and how I did it is that I wrote a schedule, like a spreadsheet, and I wrote down every section that I did for my business and sat down for about 2 to 3 hours every week and write up about what's the process that I go through, whether it's from signing up a client, what I do in our network, similar to John's little list of 14 things he does, what email do I send out when someone comes on board, so everything so someone could come in and do what Nat did, because often people would come up to me and say, well, how do you do that? You know, explain it to me. How do you explain 2 years of stuff that you've been doing? And what I then did is I recognised that there was a certain amount of things that I did with my clients in coaching them around weight loss, and I created the 12-step system, which was the ultimate mindset success program. So it doesn't mean that there's not more than 12 steps, there is, but that's what it ended up being. I put in the best stuff in those 12 steps, and that's what the license is that I'm using. So your system also needs to deliver outstanding value. So when you're asking someone to come into your program, you need to deliver value over and above the asking price. And so with us, you know, we offer mentoring. I mean, our licensees can call us at any time. We have the webinar supports. We've now increased it from once a month to twice a month. We have tons of resources of all the training. Everything is there at their hands reach. Those people that are really interacted with us, we do everything to help them make them successful. And it's not a 9 to 5 job, you know, it is 7 till 11. 7 till 11, but it is really rewarding because we are living our ultimate lifestyle now and being able to travel on that. But as, who did I say it to before? You work hard and then you play hard. You're right. My nose started to run too. So in terms of licensing, you also need to provide portals of support to your people, as well as build a community where people can gather. So like John said, with having that tribe together that can support one another and that they can call upon each other, because it's one thing for us to be, you know, the port of call for our licensees, but when they have each other, they're also on that same, very same level, and they share the same stories and they have that community. Do you agree that that works well where you can share? Because sometimes you can feel like we're here and you guys are here, but you have the other people and then us come on board as well and add value. It's as well valuable. So think about, you know, have you guys seen those tables, a table of value of, you know, how can you create something that just adds heaps of value? What else can you add in? And with products, that's very easy. You know, that's why if you are in a service-based industry, it's very important to have tangible products. So when you package things up, so for example, when I actually start coaching someone, I'll say to them, you're going to get this book and this program, I'm going to spend this much time per month, and this is going to be the price, and it's usually 100 minutes is nearly $500 with me, like it's like a 90-minute session and a 15-minute session. And they go, oh my God, that's amazing value. And that's because I've given them all the product, and the perceived value in the product is really huge, very, very big. So perceived value is what people will invest in. So always, feel that what is the time that it actually took you to create that product? Okay? Because sometimes they go, how come you value this at $2,000? I mean, it's a manual and stuff, and I say, yeah, do you know how many years and how many sessions and how long it actually took me to actually arrive at that? It's probably valued at $15,000. And what Stuart always says is that he goes, oh, if Nat divided up how many hours she's worked in her business according to how much time she spent and how much I've been paid, because you'd be worth 14 cents an hour. You know, and it's true. It is so true. I mean, my first year in business, I earned $7,000. You know, and I had, as I said, 3 or 4 clients, and then it's jumped and jumped, and it happens, but it does take a lot of patience. Now, this is a quote that I love, and I always kind of get choked up when I read it. I don't know why. Entrepreneurship is living a few years of your life like most people won't, so that you can spend the rest of your life like most people can't. And I can see glimmers of that happening. It's still, we're not through, in any shape or form at, living that life, but we're getting there, and I can see how that works. So, any questions around product creation that I can add more value to you guys tonight?
I just wanted to add something. I'm similar to what you shared, but once you create a product, like for me with the 6-week webinar course,
Yes.
it's the same content that I can do into one-day workshop, a retreat, a
Yes.
book. It's pretty much the same thing. So
Yes.
it gives you so much more than to create from there.
Yeah, so my 7 ultimate secrets to weight loss was a baby version to the 12-step program, because I look at that book and I go, I cringe because it was written in my first year in business, but other people that pick it up, they don't know that. They love it. I get lots of amazing feedback. But yeah, the 12-step program is a lot wider, and you grow and grow and grow, and that's why you end up keep writing more stuff. Yeah, and it's replicable in so many different ways, and you should do it as an entrepreneur in many different ways, because many different people operate in different modalities. Like, when you said, I'm not auditory, so for her, a podcast in the car, no. Anyone else?
So what stage did you start systemizing everything? Start or how far in?
18 months in. It was January last year, and it took me about 4 months to get it to a point where I had written what I did in my business. And then in, when was it, about September, October, someone started, you've been talking about this licensing, show me what it is. Someone came up to me, and I created a table of value, and I showed them, and it was very far out of reach. It was a $10,000, $11,000 investment, and it wasn't right. And she said, no, it looks awesome, but I can't afford that. And then I went back to the drawing board, and I said, why am I overcomplicating this? And so then I went back and redid it, and removed a lot of me selling my time for money, because the first thing was like fortnightly one-on-one sessions, all this kind of stuff, a lot of my time. And I thought, I'm not going to get out of selling my time for money if I do this. So I dropped the price down to $3,000, and then I showed it to the person, and she was going, I'm in. I'm going to put it all together now, because I didn't have the 12-step program. I had it kind of in bits and pieces, and I had written about all the sessions and everything, but actually when she said yes to me, I had the business explosion manual, but I didn't have the program. And then I go, okay, I have 3 or 4 weeks to put it all together into a 130-page program. And I just, when you make that commitment, someone says yes to you, you go out and make it. If anything is possible, you just stay up. And at 1st of December, we had 7 people come through. So that was...
Brad Sugars has written a great book
Yeah.
Bradshaw's.
Instant Systems?
Instant Systems.
Yes. Instant Systems by Brad Shaw's, yeah.
Just on books,
Yes.
can you talk us through the process that you use when you're putting a book together? So, what did you start with first? Did you go
The name, the sexy name.
Sexy name.
Always. I start with the name and I go, what problem do I want to solve? And this was about, the procrastination was the thing. I want to teach people how to take action, but what is the actual problem? Okay, so then it was procrastination. A lot of people like, do you know how much response I've had in terms of when I've just briefly mentioned on social media that I'm doing and writing this product, and they go, oh yeah, that's my problem. Like, yeah, everyone's just like, can you send me stuff? I've been sending out people, and I can send it to you guys if you like, the intro and the first step that I've written. Do you want that? Do you want to read it? That's the story with the ball and then the first step of it. I'll send it. Yeah. I might put in our files on the Ultimate Business Support group. Yeah, that'll make it easier because I don't know if I've got everyone's emails. So yeah, the name. I don't know why, and it's just like the book's out.
And then how does the content, so, sexy name, really cool, then the content itself, how do you pull that together?
Well, then I go to the outline and I go, what are all the things that I can teach someone? Yeah, what is it, everything that I can teach someone around this? So with procrastination was, what is the problem? What is the pattern that people exhibit when they procrastinate? So then I started listing, they're looking for a quick fix. That was actually, step one is the magic bullet to procrastination. Like, I knew you were going to look for a magic bullet, that's what I wrote. There's no magic bullet. And then it was like people being perfectionists. So never actually getting, and that's the other thing I forgot to say. Remove the word perfection out of your dictionary when you're creating products. Just let it go. Let go. There's mistakes in my manuals in there. Totally. And they're not there left on purpose. We've read through them a few times and everything, but you know what? You got to let go. And sometimes it's actually to illustrate to people that you don't need to be perfect to be successful. And I also say they're there for the anal people. Because a couple of people have gotten upset with me and then I tell them why I leave them in there. Like, okay. But yeah, it's okay for it not to be perfect. I'm sure, there's a mistake in my books or whatever, and I'm cool with that. So let go of things, yeah? Is that cool? Yeah.
You mentioned publisher.
Publisher, yeah.
That's in relation to a book.
Yes.
Can you tell us more about that?
Yes, so there could be, so I've self-published. The second book was a project that someone else managed, but the first book was with a publisher overseas. The third book was a publisher locally here who's a good friend of mine. And she only became a good friend in the last year, so I didn't know her for my first book. And the experience I had locally, and the person that I know, and I'm happy to pass on her details to you guys, is, and I've spoken to Faye about her, she did such a fantastic job and actually was cheap, can you believe it? And my new book costs $5 per copy to get reprinted. If I say I want to do a run of 100, whereas my first book costs $15 a copy.
The one overseas.
The one overseas. So when, the publishing package was okay, it was like $2,500, but actually getting reprints is so expensive. And I couldn't believe when she said, the local person, $5 a book. I go, what? We'll be actually making lots of profit on this book. Because my other book sells for $25 and really $10 is not. But the Ninja book sells for $30 and we're making $25. It's not, ultimately at the end of the day, look, I'm not looking to make money out of my books. My books are only there to position me and to give me that expert status, to elevate you as a credible person. It's like you show someone, and now I say, I've written 5 programs, 3 books, and it's like, I say, shit, it must be good. And to you just go, it's just me, But it's awesome, I guess. You've got to stop and acknowledge yourself in life and kind of look back and say, you know what, well done, and I wonder where I'll be 2 more years' time and what I'll be doing. So, yeah. Did that answer your question?
Yes. I would love to know
The details,
because
yeah.
I went on Saturday
Yes.
to the workshop,
Yeah.
and the lady is a writer, and she actually said, go overseas if you want to.
Yeah. Well, I've tried different ways. I'm currently currently coaching a client. He's a locksmith, and he's writing a book, Confessions of a Locksmith. How sexy is that? He's so cool. He's so cool. And we've done a little bit of a spread out project management. He's got one person to do a book cover, someone over Elance to do the editing. You should see how he wrote it. Everything's small letters, no punctuation, nothing. When I saw the draft, at least he wrote it. You know, someone else can fix it up. But look, I expect that you'll be charged a bit more because there is a lot of it. Like when I supplied, it's pretty much, pretty good. But even those type of people, if that person, this tradesman that's been in business for 11 years can write a book, anyone can. And it's really, really cool. And actually, we're already planning his second one. He's going to write something about helping tradies grow their businesses in that kind of a niche. So it's really cool. Yeah, we're doing different things for him because we kind of thought, this is just the practice run, and then we're going to write he's going to write his proper one, which the niche is what he wants to sort of get on working in. Yeah. Any more questions? I'm happy. Look, anyone, if you guys ever want to talk to me about book publishing, just talk to me about it and come up with titles, send them to me. I'll give you really honest